No, ladies and gentlemen, I am not dead yet. If you guys want to know the spiel of why there hasn't been a lot of consistent uploads, I can leave a comment down below. Don't want to really waste your guys' time. To put it short, I kind of dealt with a pretty bad perpetual physical condition, and it's getting a lot better now, but it was pretty bad for a while, so yeah, with that being said, we got another deals video. The spring sale has been going on, and I promised to cover it quite a bit, so let's play some catch-up. Want to take a look at 10 deals of any price, not going under $10 or under $5 or anything like that. Most of these games are at a bit of a higher price point. If you guys aren't aware, I already took a look at games under the price of $10 and games that were available at any price range as well. These games are obviously entirely different. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I want to kick things off with kind of a under-the-radar deal that I think is pretty solid. Assassin's Creed Origins is 80% off for $11.99. Now, if you guys know me personally, I am not a big fan of the shift of the Assassin's Creed titles. However, I can still objectively assess that Origins is a pretty well-made game, even though I didn't like the grind in the game. There's a lot of things to like. The open world is gigantic. There's a ton of content. And at 80% off for $12, this is actually a pretty darn good deal from a value standpoint. Yes, ideally you would like the gold edition with the additional content, but still, $11.99 for this I think is really good. And I did want to give this a mention just because I thought this was one of those deals that I just kind of saw scrolling and I'm like, darn, that's actually pretty dang good. So definitely check that out if you do want to give one of those AC titles a shot. Next up, we have the Shadow Warrior Collection, which is 75% off for $14.99. This includes Shadow Warrior 1 and 2. Of course, Shadow Warrior 3 is on the horizon. I believe that's only been confirmed for PC at this point, but probably would come to PS5 series at some point as well. These games are super over-the-top action-adventure titles, really heavy on the action. If you want a game that's like no-nonsense and you just go in and have a blast, that's exactly what you're gonna get out of Shadow Warrior. You're a lot of slashing and a lot of high-octane action gameplay, so $14.99 for this I think is a pretty darn good deal, especially because you get two games. Like Shadow Warrior 2, definitely the superior game, but Shadow Warrior 1 is no slack either, so if you value like Shadow Warrior 2 at $10, Shadow Warrior 1 at $5, I mean, that's a pretty dang good deal for two very, very enjoyable action-oriented titles. Okay, next up, definitely want to give this game a shout because it is getting a PlayStation 5 upgrade, and that is Metro Exodus. So Metro is one of those franchises that is very, very technically advanced, and it's demanding on a high-end PC, but on a console, it's always a little bit limited. The PS4 version of Metro Exodus plays okay, but if you buy it now, you are going to get an upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version, so that's going to be really nice. And I'm sure it's going to play really well on the PS5, but Metro Exodus, in my opinion, while I wouldn't say it's the strongest of the three Metro titles, I thought very highly of Metro 2033 and Last Light, and I still think Exodus is an enjoyable game, and at just $12, I think it's a great pickup. Again, especially if, you know, let's hope that at some point you guys are going to have easy access to getting a PS5 down the line when that upgrade comes out. This is going to be a great title to visit. Next up, Catherine Full Body Edition, 50% off for $19.99. Now, the issue I had initially with this game, and I love Catherine, was the price point. Like $50 for this game was a little bit much, and even when Catherine initially came out, it came out at a $60 price point, and back in the day, I rented Catherine, so I didn't have like an issue paying that $60 price point, but yeah, that was just a little bit expensive. At $20, Catherine becomes a much more palatable pickup, and I really enjoyed the game, and I'm not big on like puzzle games, and I even enjoyed the puzzles in this game, but even if you play at like the easy difficulty where it pretty much plays itself and you just get into the story, even that is kind of enjoyable. I wouldn't recommend doing that just because I think the puzzle gameplay is actually really, really enjoyable. The music is great, the presentation is excellent, and the characters are very likable as well, and of course, with a game like this, very replayable with the different routes and decisions that you can make. In $19.99, well, you know, it would be great if it was $10. I still think $20 is a pretty good pickup. Next up, we have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is down to $24. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, of course, a retelling of the Dragon Ball Z anime in the form of an open-world RPG, which is pretty good, but I would recommend you that if you're going to pick this game up, be a Dragon Ball fan, and I pretty much expect that anybody that does buy this has somewhat of a knowledge to Dragon Ball and at least, you know, enjoys it to an extent. Looks great, some of the moments are recreated really well. There were a couple of specific moments that weren't in DBZ Kakarot that I was like, that moment's kind of iconic, why don't you recreate it in this game? But I guess, like, it was what it was. $24 though, I think this is a great pickup. And again, the issue with you going into this game not being a fan is fundamentally, if you assess this as just an open world RPG, it is lagging behind a lot of the high quality open world RPGs that come out these days. So, you know, being a fan does really enhance the experience that you're gonna have, and that's why I enjoyed the game so much. And I'm not even the craziest Dragon Ball fan. Like, I recently just watched Dragon Ball Super finally with a friend, and I had a fun time watching it. But it's not something I got super into or anything like that, and I wouldn't say, you know, it was the most nostalgic anime for me, but I definitely did enjoy it, and that really did enhance my experience. So if you are a super DBZ fan, you're probably really gonna enjoy it. Okay, next up we have Kingdom Come Deliverance, the Royal Edition, $11.99. If you pick up KCD, you really want to get this version of the game. The Royal Edition contains a significant amount of DLC content. The game itself really didn't garner much traction, but if you're a fan of historical RPGs, just historical games in general, I think you're really going to enjoy KCD with its settings. The visuals are great. Initially, there were some bugs here and there. A lot of that has been patched up, and the game plays, you know, as decent as it could. It does look fantastic, and again, with this one you get a ton of content with the Royal Edition, and for $12, solid open world RPG, bunch of additional DLC content. I think that's an easy recommendation. Next up, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, 50% off, $14.99. Let it be known that the port of this game is nothing to write home about. The Definitive Edition, it's not a big enhancement from that PS3 game. However, why this is an easy recommendation is Mafia 2 is an excellent game, so that PS3 version, hey, we'll take the, you know, L on the Definitive Edition upgrades, but Mafia 2 is still an excellent game that if you never played it, I would really give it a strong recommendation. It's not a giant open world like Mafia 3 was, and Mafia 3 wasn't even that enormous. But Mafia 2's more contained experience, I just think works so much better for what Mafia goes for. That's my personal opinion. Play Mafia 2 for yourself. I think you're really gonna dig it, and at 15 bucks, it's a quality single-player experience that doesn't overstay its welcome. It's concise, it's to the point, but it still has a decent amount of gameplay, so $15, I think that's a good buy here. Next up, for you guys looking for a fun multiplayer title, Hunt Showdown is 60% off for $16, but I highly recommend if you do end up picking this game up, get a couple of friends to pick it up as well, and I think you're gonna have a much better time. That's just the case with any game like this, like a Left 4 Dead, for example. Like, I wouldn't recommend a Left 4 Dead for you to go into it solo. But nevertheless, that's always going to be the case with a game like this. I do have to say, I just have a feeling in the back of my mind this could at some point be a PlayStation Plus title. Like, this seems like a perfect PlayStation Plus title. But, yeah, that's just me hypothesizing, and maybe that won't even come to reality, but that is something I do want to note. And I've been seeing quite a bit in the comments section, people being like, you know, every time I buy a game, it's announced the following week as a PlayStation Plus title, and I get really upset about that. So let it be known that this is the kind of game that I think, you know, Plus would be very advantageous in giving out. Nevertheless, with a 60% off discount, I think that is quite good. Next up, we have Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, 67% off for $19.79. If you want to lose your life for a couple of months, this is the game to pick up. An absurd amount of content, and it's content that's quite good. And obviously the Eternal Collection comes with a bunch of additional stuff. Diablo 3 isn't a game that I personally got super into. Like, I wasn't one of those people that dropped, you know, 2,000 hours into the game, but I have friends that still continue to grind on Diablo. They just love it. And maybe you'll be somebody like that, or maybe you'll just be somebody that plays the game a little bit more casually, but you still have an awesome time with the game, because Diablo 3 really fits that bill as well, with a ton of content. I don't think it's gonna go cheaper than $19.79. It seems to have really hit this price point for like the last year and doesn't go any cheaper, so yeah, I wouldn't expect a deeper discount on this at any point in the near future, but even at this price, it's absolutely worth it. And lastly, why not give Dark Souls 3 a shot, man? For 75% off for $14.99, I really dug Dark Souls 3, and again, Souls isn't like something I'm absolutely crazy about. Like, some people like, I'm excited for Elden Ring, but man, some of my boys are absolutely like on the edge to learn more about that game, and I'm not entirely like that, but I definitely enjoy my time with the Souls games, and Dark Souls 3 was one of those games I really did enjoy. And I think at $15, again, this is one that I don't foresee getting much cheaper, so yeah, I think it would be a pretty good pickup. You know what to expect out of a Souls games? I imagine most of you have already played one at this point and have, you know, ascertained whether or not you like it, whether or not it's your cup of tea. But if you never have, $15 for DS3 I think is pretty good, and this is my favorite of the 3 Souls games. Liked Bloodborne more, but Bloodborne is a bit different, but I would check out DS3 definitely. Some great boss battles here as well, great music, visuals are stunning, and obviously you got that Souls gameplay with some great locations as well, so 15 bucks, I thought that was worth a recommendation as well. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, sorry about the absence. You know, I'll try to get a little bit more consistent, but no promises, just in case of how things go with my personal health and things like that. Can always find the humor in situations, so don't worry about me, but that's gonna wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.